Hey guys, this is Nathan, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Hope you guys are doing good today. I am doing great. So I've been doing a little bit more exploring around the map, and I actually found a few more things. I went a bit further to the south, found some more copper down here, more pure iron down over here, another pure caterium. So that's great. We also have some normal limestone and normal copper over here. And I exposed a couple more limestone nodes over here. Found a few more slugs, some Mercer spheres. Didn't see any summer sloop, but you know. But so, did all that exploring out there, and then I decided it was time to come back to the base and start working. So I pulled up absolutely everything that we had for our old smelting of plates and rods and making screws and all of that stuff here next to our first two iron mines, and started building a factory. So this thing is not finished, but I think it's looking pretty darned good. So again, on this factory I have set up the smelters so that they poke through the roof. We have a bit more of a poke through the roof this time, which I like a bit more. And if we actually come down here and hook the outputs of these guys up, they should be hooked up. Why? Oh, why is that not working? So I did try to use the blueprint constructor to do this, and for whatever... Oh, that's why. Because we actually have no power running to our... Actually, let's go ahead and take it from here. We have no power running to our miner. So let's go ahead and get that hooked up. Now this is a Mark II miner, overclocked to 210 items per minute. So it is putting out a fair amount of items, but it's still a long way from being full. But then we will see all of these kick on, and we've got all this smoke pouring out of the top. Obviously, the back of the factory needs a lot of work, and there's a lot of things still to do on this factory. But I am kind of happy with how this side over here looks. So I put the concrete pillars in kind of a lattice, and then still have the foundations going down to the ground. And then of course we have all of our painted steel beams running around the windows and around the walls and things like that. I really like the way that this looks. So yes, I'm rather much enjoying the factory. I have set up a tube here. I originally had it set up with a booster on the end of it, but I didn't set it up with a junction, and so I ended up getting stuck. And I'm like, yeah, this is just temporary. I am not going to mess with it. But so if we come up here and take a look now, we can see, of course, there is a sink in there right now, sinking all of the iron ingots that we're getting. But you can see this is starting to look pretty good. It's not going to be completely obscuring our copper factory. And then what we will be doing with the iron ingots that we get out of this, there is this hollow space underneath here, and we are actually going to be running the conveyors underneath, and we may cut certain areas out of there and just put walkways over it so that we can see the conveyors in places. But that is going to then come across to over here where the hub is currently. So we are finally going to be moving the hub. It's going to be to another temporary location. But we are going to be building another factory here to then take the iron ingots and turn them into plates and rods. And then from there, we will be going on to additional factories. So we are going to be making this a very, one or two, or maybe at most, like we have in the copper factory, 3 items per factory. And so, yes, I'm kind of excited about having a lot of buildings around. We can definitely experiment with different styles. Like this one here has the skylights on it, and I think that's pretty cool. Being able to have the smoke billowing out of the top of the building to let us know that, hey, this is actually on and functioning. I think that is absolutely amazing. But so I am going to continue working on this. This particular factory is capable of handling 28 smelters. Now, at the moment, we do not have the ability to fill 28 smelters with iron ore. So we are going to have to be doing a lot of work with that. We will have to be setting up truck stations, all kinds of stuff. There is a lot of work to be done around here. So I am going to keep working on this. And, see you guys in a little bit when this one's done and we're ready to start on the next one. So I got here near the door and I couldn't put the concrete pillars in the center like I have been on all the others. So I went ahead and put them on either side, and then I decided I would frame the inside around the door, and I like this a lot better than I like that. So I am going through here, and actually I'm going to be changing all of this to have that same style. And why do I do this to myself? It looks absolutely amazing. I will say that. The wonderful combination of the various colors and the depth and everything, it looks great. But at the same time, man, that's a lot of extra work. But yeah, look at that. That looks so much better. I like that a lot more. Now, there's the debate in my mind of whether or not I should have it come up into this portion, but that would also mean then that I would have to have another horizontal concrete pillar beam. Nah, I don't really want to do that. I think I'm going to keep it down below, also inside of here, just like in the copper factory. That gives the appearance of holding up the floor above it. So I think that's pretty cool. So, yeah, I guess. Go around and do this. I love the fact that you do it on the outside and it comes on the inside as well. And as a thought, I could potentially make this as a blueprint and just recreate it over and over and over. I don't know. I have found out that I can't delete blueprints, so not terribly thrilled about that. So I don't know if I can maybe rename them later and repurpose them for other things, but as of right now, yeah, you make a blueprint and you're stuck with it. So it doesn't matter if you screwed up on it or not. It's there. So, yeah. Alright, well, I'm back to the building process. No. Well, that looks pretty good to me. That's a lot of smoke coming out of there. Now, the issue right now is I've got 2 of the 4 output lines for this factory running into sinks. The other 2 are just kind of sitting here. So those, well, the front row here will fill up and not be able to continue. But, yeah, in order to get this going, I actually changed things around back here. And we now have a truck station behind here. And this guy comes in here and will drop off all kinds of iron ore. Now this iron ore is then split on one side. And yes, I will clean this all up eventually. Right now this is just to get things going. But it's split to run to the 2 that go on the front half of the factory, and then there is just a solid output for this half of the factory. Now the other half of the factory is currently being fed by these 2. So yeah, they are keeping up just fine. We have another input that we could use here, but right now we just don't have it. But I'm really happy with the way that this has turned out. All looks really nice. I like the idea of being able to run the belts underneath the factory That's pretty cool. And in all actuality, we have one more spot here that we could run belts through here, but right now we don't need to. But it has got me to thinking about our tractors and the fact that when we do start actually using these guys in very heavy, heavy usage and everything, what we're going to have to do is set up a common fuel station for all of them. So all of the tractors or trucks, depending on which ones we're running, will have to run through a fuel station, and next to it there will have to be a coal station where something is dropping off the coal at that station in order to, well, I guess we could actually have the fuel station be a coal drop-off too. So I don't know, we've got to figure out how that's all going to work, but yes, now it's time to do something with all of this stuff, because yeah, obviously sinking ingots at 2 points each, not really worth much. So gotta get this next factory up and running. I decided I'm going to make a small factory for making plates and then a small factory for making rods, and we'll just take one conveyor line for each of those factories. So yeah, gotta try to get some stuff figured out. Of course, I do have here all of the items that we have gotten from various things, and we're actually going to take one more here, put it up here as close as we can. We're going to drop off most of our inventory. And now what we're going to do, this has been coming, it needed to be done. Goodbye to the hub. Now, there is one thing that you may have seen there. If we look at my inventory, yes, nobelisks, black powder, yeah, we've got all that stuff. I went ahead and unlocked that stuff because in order to do a lot of the building around here, we had rocks that were poking through the foundations. I wanted to take care of those, so I went ahead and made some nobelisks so that I could blow them up, and things are looking a lot better now because of it. So, yep, I think we're just going to, for the moment, put the hub back over here, kind of in front of all of this, and that'll be good enough for me. Alright, well, I am going to see what I can figure out on this next factory. Of course, right now we are going to be working through the sinks, so I'll have to figure that out. So, yeah, I will be back in a little bit. Well, I have to say, this feels a bit too much like I'm trying too hard. Doesn't look very good either. So what I'm kind of thinking here, got a lot of stuff going on here. We're going to pull a whole bunch of this back down. And what we're going to do is we are going to put windows from top to bottom. If I can get this last one in there. And then we are going to put beams up. And I guess I'm in angle mode. But we'll put beams up from the bottom to break up the windows. And of course I will be removing the other angled portion as well. But then the issue comes in that the floor will be visible through the windows. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to put a concrete pillar through the middle. Now these guys here, we need to change them to red as well. And we'll run them all the way from the bottom up. Looks like I'm missing a window somewhere. So that's kind of what the exterior will look like. It does feel like there's a lot that is, well, it's not, there's not a lot of visual interest in it. So I may have to look at tweaking this just a little, but I do think that's probably what I'm going to do for this factory. Now, I need to be able to have at least enough capacity to handle 480 ingots. I'm not going to be running a full 480 ingots in here right now, but much like our smelting factory, we are kind of planning for the future, having more capacity than we currently have available for, you know, what our belts can carry. So, yeah. I'm going to work this out. Hopefully I can come up with a slightly more interesting thing. This is just a lot of the same color over and over. So, see what I can come up with, and I'll be back in a little bit. To be honest, it looks more like a modern bank or office building than a factory, but hey, at the same time, this is... It still fits into the aesthetic of the other buildings, and it is completely different. Now, I don't know for sure. I just think I want to leave the bottom, you know, the entrance area alone and only have the concrete pillars up above. Now, as far as the entrance area is concerned, I have made, well, a walkway up on top with a wall that separates us from the conveyor belt. So we'll be able to see the items moving into the factory, which I think is pretty cool. So, yeah, we'll be able to see that. Now, to do that, I did have to place the walls in the middle of the block. If you're unaware of how to do that, you place a road barrier anywhere that you place a road barrier. So I could put one here, then I can take my window and replace that, and that is with, well, for me, like I've said before, it is the shift button. The default is the control button. But so if we come in here, we have the first operation floor. We are going to be able to come in and look at it from above, and then we go up again, and this is going to be the second operation floor. Now, I had wanted to be able to put 16 in here. I think I'm going to be able to fit a bit more. I think this will handle 24 constructors. So we're a bit more than what we actually needed, which is fine. But so because of that, I am only going to set up the bottom floor. Now, the reasoning for that is the fact that we are also going to have stuff going up through, and I haven't quite decided how all of that's going to work. So the next thing for me to do is to hook up all of these constructors here. Like I said, this is going to be doing iron plates and nothing but iron plates. So that's going to be a lot of iron plates. So I guess more building. Oh my god, this is tight in here. So yes, we've got 12 constructors here. And it, like I say, it is just literally as tight can be. So there is a walking space between, but you can see the lifts have clipped heavily into the constructors. Now, I did check this, that they do work, so shouldn't be any issue with that. So everything is hooked up with the exception of power. So I did run our output line through here as well, and man, the glare on the glass is horrible. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. But so we do have our input line coming in below, our output line going above, and so yes, I think it's time to turn it on. I have our output currently just set to go into the sink. So let's go ahead and get ourselves some power here somewhere. So I think what we'll actually do here is we will pull off of this factory. We're going to have to get some type of a good power logistics here. But on the side of the building here, we can just barely see it. There is a connector. Let's go ahead and hook that up. See what that did to our power consumption. Potential went up by quite a bit, but overall everything looks okay. We've got iron ingots flowing into the system, and we should be able to see here pretty soon. Yep, there they go. Iron plates coming out. So the only thing that we could potentially need to do with this still is to have some sort of an amount of these held somewhere, but you know, for the moment they are just going to be going on to another factory somewhere else. But so we can see they are being pushed into the sink. If we actually demolish this belt, we should be able to see what kind of a speed we can get out of this. Now obviously we will be limited by how much is feeding in, but really we should be able to. So we've got 12 in there, so we should be able to handle 360 ingots of input currently. So that means that that is weird. We are getting gaps. 360 ingots of input, but that will only be 240 plates of output, because it is 30 ingots for 20 plates. Oh, I did not think about that. Well, that is actually fine. So, yeah, we are getting our plates out. We are having ingots going in. And in all actuality, having the plates coming out is every bit as good. If we had a full belt, it would be every bit as good as running ingots in. As it is, we should be okay, I think. So, yeah, we're doing decent. So we now have our plate factory up and running. Smeltery should be kicking on. Let's go ahead and hop up on here. We should see some of our smelters burning. Yeah, actually quite a few of them. That is a glorious sight. Now, in order to finish out the factory, I will say I had to start pulling down all of this temporary stuff that I had set up here. So that's going to be the next thing. We have to actually rip pretty much all of this down. We're going to leave the steel portion in place, but most everything else is going to get pulled down. So before I go, I do want to see, how does this look from the side? Oh, that is beautiful. The buildings definitely have a different style, but they feel like they belong together. I love it. All right. Well, I guess now comes the arduous task of tearing all of this down, and inventory is going to be a bit of an issue with that because we've got storage containers completely full of items on here. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff. I got to get tons of the personal storage boxes to hold all of that. And when I come back, like I say, this will be gone. Well, that is quite a change. Having that big, ugly platform gone. And now that we have an idea of how our base is going to be built, you know, that a lot of this stuff is going to end up going away. So we don't have time to be able to get rods up and running today, but I do have to say we've gotten a lot done. So I think the next thing to do, we are going to take a look at some of the things that we can do in the MAM, because this is one of the things that we have been neglecting a little bit. And so I think we're just going to head into here and just see what we can do. So the alien organisms, we have not researched a single one of these yet. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit of each of these. So I guess whatever we have. Wow, we only have one stinger. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get all these. It'll be 3 seconds each, and each of these will unlock the ability to be made into the alien protein after it is researched. So, yes, those are very good at getting a lot of awesome shop coupons. So that is going to take care of all of that. Now for the next one, we need an alien DNA capsule. So we will quickly make that up, and we will also need some biomass. So we'll go ahead and do this, get to the right place here, and let's show affordable only. So we'll get a little bit of biomass, and then we will make some protein. And there we go. Should be a great deal plenty for us to be able to get our next one here. So bioorganics. Oh, this, we didn't need biomass. This allows us to turn it into biomass. Whatever. Good enough. It doesn't matter. But now we get into some stuff that is really helpful. Like extra inventory? Absolutely. We need some wire or some cable for that. So let's head over here. We should have, well, we've got some. How much did we need? I think we needed 1,000, didn't we? Yeah, so let's go get a little bit more out of here. And yes, I love the way that the stepped foundations are. We can move around really easy, really nice to do. So we will go ahead and, yeah. So just 2 more of those, and that will refill. It is kind of nice having all of that just automatically set up. So let's go ahead and get this one. So inflated pocket dimension. So 6 more slots. Very nice. All right, what else have we got here? Oh, scannable objects, enemies. So for this one, we need crystal oscillators and high-speed connectors. We're not near that stuff. Now, the crystal oscillator, we could probably make them, but so high-speed connectors, yeah, we don't even have the recipe for the high-speed connectors yet. And the crystal oscillators, I think we have the recipe for those, but they are not exactly easy either. No, we don't even have the recipe for them. So we can't do either of those. Wow. Alright, so the next thing, we just need some steel beams and some more of some of those capsules. So let's see here. Capsules. We'll go ahead and make a little bit more of this. Okay, so that's enough of the DNA capsules. There we go. And then I think we needed 1,000 steel beams. Well, a little bit short on that. So let's go grab a bunch of steel beams. Now, like I said, the steel production is still active up there. Did have to rework all of my power connections and everything like that. I even had to rework the way that we get up there. So now we come up here and we go up a really long set of stairs. But steel beams, let's go ahead and grab a few more of those. There we go. So that'll kick on and refill. So, yes. Now this thing is full of iron ore. And it will remain full of iron ore for the time being because of the simple fact that that is where our truck goes, or our tractor goes for fuel. So we're going to leave it there. He won't drop anything off when he goes by because he can't. But, yeah, it's got to stay there for a little while. So now we've got this. Let's go ahead and get our expanded tool belt, which will now put us to 5 slots. Yes, we have a fair amount of room in our inventory. Very nice. Or our hand slots. So let's see, is there anything else? So rods in that. Okay, so actually we should have everything. Well, let's go ahead and get some more of the DNA capsules. And then we need some rods. and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I forget that we are faster to go through rather than around. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get this one. So, structural analysis. And that doesn't give us anything, but it does allow us to unlock the rebar gun. And at the same time, we now have the medicinal inhaler able to be unlocked. So we need nuts, rotors, lots of rotors, plates and screws, reinforced plates and screws. So, reinforced plates, where did I put the reinforced plates are up here. So reinforced plates, rotors, nuts, and screws. So we should have plenty of nuts. Actually, we have some up in our hand. And then screws right there. There we go. So yes, I do have that organized, and it does make sense to me. Doesn't mean that I'm always going to go to the right spot, but the protein inhaler, that will be a very good use for all of our nuts and things like that, so that we can very rapidly recover our hit points instead of eating these guys. You know, we'll be able to do much better, and hopefully we'll be able to see that if we have some enemies to deal with. But there are a whole bunch of other things here. So Caterium, Mycelium, the nutrients, power slugs, we actually just need a little bit more for that. And then the quartz and sulfur, we need to unlock a whole bunch more stuff here in the sulfur. And it looks like we have a lot of that available too. And so I think we're going to work on unlocking a whole bunch of that stuff in the next episode, because we are finally out of time. So I'm going to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to give a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any thoughts about the buildings or anything that I've been working on, you want to give me tips on efficiency or anything like that, be sure to leave that down in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye!